Hey, thank you guys for being here. It's an honor and privilege to be able to share. I just want to kind of hit a couple of things that, I don't know, just maybe some things that you maybe need to be thinking about, some future things, maybe some trends, and I think I had it at the end of my presentation, but one thing I will talk about is when you're looking at your domain name, how many of you guys have bought the .church domain name for your church? Okay, that's a great group to talk to then. So again, I'm from LifeChurch.tv. For those of you guys that don't know much about LifeChurch.tv, it's the largest church in America. They actually have 25 campuses now, about 80-something thousand people in attendance on a weekend. That's not online, that's actual butts in seats. I was one of the campus pastors there. Had a campus went from 0 to about 4,000 in a couple of years. And so it's just, but again, so like the .tv name, especially in like the Midwest and other parts of the country, lots of people are using a .tv name. They don't even know why they're using a .tv name. And so basically, Life Church is trying to buy .com. It wasn't available, so the only one that was available was .tv. So they bought it. Long story short, everybody, it's the TV church. You went to this. There was no rhyme or reason for it, but it actually became their name, LifeChurch.tv. And it's been about 9 months ago, Life Church was actually in the hunt to get the new .church extension. So about 8 months ago, .church, they actually had the chance to actually be one of the owners. They didn't win it. However, they did get rights like the first 10 or 15 .church names. What a .church is, instead of you having .com, you could have like Destiny.church. And so here's the thing, it is the future. So you can not jump on it now, but it will be the future. 8 years from now, everybody will have a .church extension. It just makes sense. And so right now, go on, pay the $29, figure out a name that works for you because it is the future. Even if you're not totally comfortable, just have it redirect to your current name if you're not ready to go forward with your church. But I'm telling you, it definitely is the future. It just makes sense. And so originally, Google wasn't a big fan of any of the whatever extensions. Like there's consulting extension, guru, there's everything you can imagine. But recently, Google actually bought the XYZ extension. And so when they did that, it opened it up to where if Google is excited about an extension outside of .com, that means it opens up for everything else. So one thing I encourage you, get the .church extension. The other thing, how many of you guys are on Periscope by show of hands? Periscope. If you're not on Periscope, Periscope is a live streaming app. It was actually bought by Twitter. It's the future of social media. It's the future of reality TV. It's the future of live streaming. And actually with the new Apple TV 3, the new one that just came out, you'll actually be able to have your Periscope channel on there. So again, it's just in a matter of it's been out since March. Just in the 8 months that it's been out, it's already put a dent in reality television viewing. They're already seeing numbers go down because it's just this amazing platform. It was the fastest platform of any social media platform to 10 million. And so that ought to tell you anything. If you look at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, everything that's been out, it was the fastest to 10 million. It is the future. Some people are like, I don't know what to do with it. Come up with a strategy, get a game plan. It's a great platform for you to be able to share what's going on with your volunteers. Figure out how to use it. Find somebody that knows how to use it because, again, it is the future of social media. In my opinion, here's what I think. Facebook is the new MySpace. It's just a matter of time. When you go on Facebook, it's clunky. It's all about ads. It's all about money. Again, right now they're making money, and you still feel like it's the place to be. That's how MySpace felt whenever they were on, and all of a sudden all the bling came out, and everybody was doing all their weird stuff, and the next thing you know, it doesn't exist. And so just know, if you're investing on anything, ads are still great right there, but it's not the future. Twitter will be the platform that it'll stay consistent. It won't go away. All you got to do is see where the national people are putting their money, you don't see them share their Facebook handle. They share their Twitter handle. Because Twitter is an information source. And so as a church, we got to make sure you can be on Facebook, you can be on Instagram, you can be on whatever. Matter of fact, Instagram is a great place for you to be. But just know, we got to quit thinking about what's now, and we have to start thinking about what's next. And so if we're always in the what's now, we're already too late. And so we have to be thinking about what's next. And for the people in the church community to not know that .church is there, that means we're not even thinking about what's now, we're thinking about what was. And so not only what's now, we got to start thinking about what's next. And so you got to be asking yourself those questions in all your areas. What's going on? What am I doing? How are we doing it? How are we connecting with people? Because again, people, they almost tend to expect that we understand what's next. And so I think those are two easy ones for you. There's lots of other trends that are going on. Again, I just wanted to hit these. I had them kind of at the end of my talk this time. Another one is, I think, a big direction that the churches are going is doing their own worship music. 8 years ago, that would have been a trend that nobody was on. Nobody wanted to do their own thing. It was kind of like if they did their stuff, it was kind of whack and it wasn't as good and it wasn't as high quality. So we'll just stick to buying everybody else's stuff. And now, as Pastor was talking about earlier about creating culture, one thing that having your own worship CD for your congregation, for your church, it begins to shape culture. You begin to shape the hearts of the people by the music you play. It doesn't mean that you can't play other music. It doesn't mean you can't still do Hillsong, whatever. However, it does something to the creative process of your people. All of a sudden, now they have to sit down and start talking about writing a song. So if I'm a songwriter now, the stuff that I play is different. What does it look like? Is a song going out? Is it going up? How do I connect our people? What do we want our people to do? So again, that's another trend that you would ask this question 8 years ago. That wasn't happening. Another thing is, spirit-filled Pentecostal expression is now the new sexy thing. And some of you guys, that's how you've rolled for all of your life, and you're like, yeah, been there, done that. That's who we are. However, now, I work with lots of churches that are Baptist churches. Now they're saying we're Baptist-costal. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to see what we do. Like, it is a trend. Like, they're trying to say, what do we do? So just like these are things that it's kind of crazy to say that those are trends. But again, I work with churches across the gamut. Every denomination you can imagine. We work with some of the largest Asian churches, black churches, Hispanic churches, predominantly white church. Like, we work with them all over. But it's just really interesting to see. Sometimes you have to step back to see the trends. Because when you're doing your own thing, you're just doing your ministry. And guess what? Some reason Sundays just keep coming. Like, you know what? You don't have time to figure out what's going on with everybody else's stuff because Sundays keep coming. They keep coming. You got to preach. You got to lead. You got to impart into your people. You got to go get out in the community. You got to connect with people. You got to figure out who the stakeholders are. You got to do all these things. And so, read. Find the right blogs to read, hire consultants, get attorneys, get people that can help you to stay connected. Be a part of movements like this. You guys get a chance to come in here really for free? Are you kidding me? Every time something with a P and ended with a P, passionate pastor, I would be here. You know what I'm saying? And invite your friends. There's no reason why, there's no reason this thing shouldn't be out of, this is crazy. This is still crazy. I didn't know it was free until last night. I was trying to invite some of my buddies, man, they asked how much they cost. I don't know, go online. I'm sure it's probably a couple $100 for the day or whatever, 100. So I don't know what it is. But anyway, that's crazy. So that's another trend, something else that's happened. I'm just trying to think, what was else? If you guys have some questions, I'll try to save some time at the end for questions. This presentation could go really, really long, but I'm going to make sure I stay on time. I have 28 minutes and 35 seconds right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just hit some points. I'm going to talk about, as we're talking about building teams and championship teams and healthy cultures, I'm going to go ahead and tap into some of that now. We'll see. I think okay, so who is Scott Williams? You guys kind of know now. So we're going to talk about building a championship team of staff and volunteers. We probably won't have time to get to the volunteer part, but we'll make sure we hit the staff at least. And so 4 variables that contribute to a championship team. What are the 4 variables that contribute to a championship team? They have good to great players. Every championship team has good to great players. For you sports fans, you'll appreciate this. For you non-sports fans, you should still appreciate it as well. They have good to great fans. Notice I'm not just saying they have great players and great fans because, again, championships teams didn't always have great players. They have good to great. They have a good to great coach. All championship teams don't always have a great coach. There's some combination of it. But this is the most important one here. Oops. Here we go. A culture of development. So here's the thing. So even if you don't have great players, say a player comes in, he's a good player. If you're a developer, guess what? You will grow that good player into a great player. Guess what? If the coach comes in and if the organization has great leadership, executive leadership, they will grow that good coach into a great coach. Guess what? If you have a great team, guess what? Those fans that were just good fans, all of a sudden they're great fans. Seriously, where did the Clippers fans come from? Where did all those fans, where did they come from just overnight? All of a sudden they're just, did Lakers fans just change their jerseys? Because that didn't exist, but they're everywhere now. Here, I'm sorry, Lakers. Right now, I know you got all the banners, but you're the little brother when it comes to fandom right now in your own city. Like, it's a true story. They're more excited about it. Lakers fans, I go to the games. The guys I've mentored forever, Xavier Henry, great Christian young man, got hurt. He used to play for the Lakers for a couple of years. I'm telling you, like, man, the fans, they're just excited. They're just cool to say. They're not crazy fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys are, I don't know. It's just like, it's a little bit, it's a little just entitled, like because we have all the banners, because we wear the gold, like you're just not crazy fans. But when you have a culture of development, I tell you, with the new ownership, I think you'll continue to see that more with the Clippers. I mean, I think Doc, he's a developer. You can say what you want to him as a coach, but he takes players from where they are and he makes them better. I mean, we had Kendrick Perkins, who played for him when he was at the Celtics. He was really good. He wasn't very good when he got to us. You know what I'm saying? Because Scott Brooks wasn't a developer. And so you have to be able to develop. And so when you have a culture of development, you can have a championship team because, again, you will take good to great players, you'll take good to great fans, you'll take a good to great coach, and you will move them down this road to greatness. I always say, like, when we look at success and we look at greatness, we always think it and see it as a destination. But success is not a destination, it's a journey. And if it's a journey, that means that we have to do development along the process. So imagine your success as a journey. It has lots of exits, it has lots of mile markers. You know, you got to potentially pull off on the side of the road, but you have to just keep moving. And so I think that's important. If you looked at, the Lakers during their heyday, that's what they had right here. If you looked at the Bulls, you looked at the Heat, you looked at the Spurs, every single one of them had these elements. And so championship teams, that's what they have. Up. All right. Guess I kind of jumped to it. I was going to say that if you want to learn, you got to learn from the best. Must be willing to learn from the best. Yeah, you guys get it. There we go. The best. And so I know that I kind of did this for the Lakers fans because I could have put the Bulls in the background there, and it probably would have made a lot more people mad than happy. However, if you guys are not sports fans, everybody know who this guy is, right? Everybody knows who this guy is. So Phil Jackson arguably will go down as one of the best NBA coaches to ever coach, period, the end. You can say what you want to. You can talk about whoever else you want to. This guy is just ridiculous. And so as leaders, that should be our goal, to go down and like, man, we were responsible for putting together championship teams. Again, so when you're talking about championship teams, that means there's some development that went along the way. It's not even about the rings. Think about all the players that he's been able to develop over the years. The people that we idolize as sports fans has been a part and actually had the opportunity to receive from his greatness, from his leadership. So learn from the best. So what I want to do is I want to look at 7 keys to building a championship team, and we're going to look at it from the career of Phil Jackson, So I think this will help some folks out right here. From Phil Jackson's coaching career, Jason Lozano comes in and starts smiling immediately. Hadn't paid attention to anything. Now he is all in. So this is all good. All right, so again, keys to building a championship team. One thing Phil Jackson did, a willingness to coach the best. A willingness to coach the best. We were just talking about this a little bit earlier. Think about the folks that Phil Jackson has coached. Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. He has a willingness to coach the best. So many leaders, they don't want to coach the best. Matter of fact, I seriously, we do staffing for churches. And so we do staffing for churches. Like we'll go out, and again, my rule on hiring in churches, just so you know, again, I'm a Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. I think 80% of your staff should come from the inside. You raise them up, sons and daughters of the house. You should bring 20% from the outside because you need fresh eyes and fresh perspective. Because no matter how good you are, if everything is only internal, here's the deal, you can become oblivious to some of the great things. When I left Life Church, I was gone for about a year and a half before I came back and spent some time with leadership. And we're talking about, and they're like, Scott, tell us some of the things you've learned, because as much success as we had, we're inbred. We only know what we know. It's not like Life Church is going out to see what other churches are doing. When you're the largest church in America, or just when you're a church that has another Sunday that's coming around, you don't really have time to do it. So when you bring that 20% from the outside, those fresh eyes, but when you bring them in from the outside, let them speak into what you're doing, no matter if it's a volunteer leader, whatever, because they've probably seen some things, they have fresh eyes, stuff that you just say, we just do it this way. And so, again, one thing that Phil Jackson, he was willing to coach the best. I was interviewed, we brought a slate of candidates for a church. We were doing a national search for us. They had a slate of 5 candidates. I'm telling you, 3 of these guys, rock star. And literally the senior pastor said, yeah. He said, actually, I don't think I want him. He's probably too good. What is that? Because in other words, I don't want anybody that's going to threaten what I'm doing. In other words, I don't want, but when you're a leader, and like, do you think Phil Jackson, he could care less? Kobe, Shaq, put his hand, like, this is what y'all need to do. At the end of the day, he gets the credit from their greatness. He could be like, no, Kobe and Shaq together, man, it probably won't work. Were there some challenges? But as leaders, that's your responsibility. You bring in the great ones, you let them know the expectation, you let them know the culture. This is what you do. There's room for everybody to be great. That's what you call a win-win situation. And so, again, willingness to coach the best. So many leaders are not willing to coach the best. The second one is this, is win without the coach. Win without the coach. If the coach has to always be around in order for the organization to be winning, then we got a problem. What would Phil Jackson do? Things were going crazy. Every other coach in the NBA would call a timeout. What would he do? He'd sit there and as fans, you're like, call a timeout, Phil. What are you doing? But what had to happen? Kobe and the other teammates, hey guys, man, what are we gonna do? No, man, I'm telling you, man, no, you need to do this. Dog, we need to do this. Hey, no, I'm telling you, that's not what's working best for the Volunteers. Why are you greeting them like that? I know that's how we do. Here's the deal, use a flashlight when they're coming in, it's dark. What are you doing? No, don't just smile at them, wave at them, use a hand sign. You know what? Have them put their flashers on when they come in. That we can know that they're a new person, they're a VIP. No, we need to do this, we need to do this and do that. And he comes back, and then next thing you know, it goes, and he comes back like, it's time out. What's up? Oh, man, great. Love what you guys said. Exactly. Do just what you were doing. That's what I want you to do. But so often leaders feel like there's no way that they can win without me because we're so important. I have to be there. I have to be involved in every decision. So here's the deal. But you must be willing to let your people fumble and find. Again, I remember when I was a young prison warden, and the prison warden before I took over, she was like, she wanted to know everything. She was a micromanager. She had red hair. Her heels would click. Everybody got scared. She was a little bit crazy. And so when I took over, I remember it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning. They're calling me like, Warden, we need to do this. And I'm like, figure it out. Why are y'all calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning? Chief, if you can't do this, I can hire somebody else that will. Next thing you know, I didn't get any calls. We had one of the best ran for our audit scores for facilities in the country. We had one of the best ran facilities in the country. Here's the thing. What I told them is this, is there's nothing that we can't begin to fix in 5 minutes or 5 phone calls. And in a prison, we're talking about life and death. So if there's a riot, we're going to call the sheriff. We're going to call the media. I'm going to call my boss. We're going to call so-and-so. We're going to lock the place down, and we're going to begin to work through the process. Guys, you're not dealing with life and death. It is not that serious. We try to make ministry a whole lot harder than it is. It just makes us feel better to say, oh, you don't understand. So hard. Preach the sermons like I worked the whole 15 weeks. One sermon. It takes a lot out of you. You don't understand the target that's on my back. Here's what I think starts happening. Oh, the devil's trying to attack me. I'm not saying some of that stuff is not real. But what I'm saying is first of all, we give the enemy way too much credit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, our Wi-Fi is out. Oh, the devil tried to attack my Wi-Fi. No. The devil didn't attack your Wi-Fi. The devil's just attacking my finances. No. Your CPA is horrible. Your systems are bad. Your call for the offering is whack. Nobody is buying into it. The devil has no authority, just your thoughts. Like your thoughts, like I'm telling you, like, but here's what I think. Like, literally, like I was on Periscope, and there was this guy who was a prophet something or whatever he was. Like, I'm serious, like he was on there, really big following, and he was literally talking, he was doing a broadcast, and he was talking about how, the devil's attacking his Periscope broadcast. Literally, this is true story. Lord is my witness. I am in an email conversation with a staff member from Periscope, and they're talking about the glitch that they have in their system. Bro, the devil's not attacking your Periscope. Periscope has a glitch. Stop giving the enemy so much credit. I'm telling you, does that make any sense to anybody? So I'm just saying, so win without the coach, Win without the coach. Just go fumble and find, figure it out. It'll be amazing. And some of your best ideas will come from you letting people fumble and find. I'm telling you, sometimes you're just stripping all the creativity out of your team because you have to be involved in everything. Let them figure it out. Your people, why would your people need to raise up and be amazing if you got all the answers? Like, why do I need to share my idea? You have all the ideas. I mean, if Phil Jackson, like, that's why he's great. I mean, people, I'm telling you, I used to sit there and watch him. I'd be like, dude, this is stinking brilliant. After I used to say, call timeout, I say, this is stinking brilliant. I mean, just what, I don't know any coaches that, Popovich will do a little bit of it now. But then Popovich is sometimes he'll do it, but sometimes he's quick to call a timeout. But just watch what happens if you find a coach that Calipari would do a little of the same thing in college. Yeah. Watch what starts to happen with the guys on the court. They start to figure it out. And watch what starts to happen with your team. Your team will start coming with amazing answers and solutions and opportunities. So win without the coach. Mastered the three-peat. Mastered the three-peat. And so here's the thing. Phil was able to do a three-peat several times with several teams. So not only did he win a championship, but he won another championship and another championship afterwards. No other coach has been able to do that. And what he said was, whenever he retired and went off to like, what was it about? He said, it was just something about the thrill of chasing the three-peat. In other words, it wasn't enough for him to have a win, but it was the thrill of chasing the three-peat. And I love one interview, when they were interviewing Phil Jackson, he said, but it's not just that. He says, we also have to take time to celebrate our wins and the success that we've had. I'm going to say that again. In ministry, we need to take time to celebrate the wins and the success that we're having. Because guess what? You just had an amazing conference. You bring your people in on Monday morning, boom, it's on to the next thing. Oh, you just had an amazing Christmas. Okay, boom, you bring your people in. We got to start getting ready for Easter. Oh, we just had an amazing women's event. Oh, you bring your people in. We got to get ready for the next thing. You don't take the time to celebrate your win. So your people just feel like they're in this hamster wheel. Like, take the time, get them off the hamster wheel. Guys, this is amazing. I mean, literally have time you need to have somebody on your team. Their only role is to look back at the wins. Because at Life Church, one of the things that we had, because it was such a forward-thinking ministry, we don't got time to think about what we just did. We got to go to the next win, the next campus, the next grow. We hit 500, we got to hit 1,000, we got to hit 2,000. All those things are important. But you have to take time to rest, to breathe, and to celebrate the wins. And so literally, Life Church hired a person. His title literally was the storyteller. And the only thing the storyteller would do would be to look back and tell the stories of successes that you've had in the organization. Because think about it, just the stuff that you shared with Pastor when you guys were talking, like it was like this is this history and this story, like, but those moments are important because it allows you to know, look how far we've come. How are we celebrating this win? Yes, you had the crazy Easter numbers. Yes, you sent the text message to your friends. This is how many you had. But then Monday morning comes and you're ready to go again. Take the time to celebrate the three-peat. One win is not enough. You got to win. Like there should be an expectation that we're going to win. We're going to win. Like this is what we do. Winning is what we do. It was the joy of chasing the three-peat, but here's the deal. We're going to take the time to celebrate our victories. And I'm telling you, that's why the people relish it. Because here's the deal. There's so many teams that are one and dones. You know why? Not everybody does it. Nobody else does a three-peat. Let me go ahead and say that nobody else does a three-peat. Because every other coach is this. We won, and what do they say? Here's the deal. What does even Saban say? Let's get back to work tomorrow. Yes, he always says that. We're getting back to work tomorrow. No. These college students just busted their tails. You're going to take the time to celebrate. These fans have paid money. They came and support you. Celebrate it. And here's what it does. Phil Jackson you probably don't even remember, but he made Laker Nation feel like this was such an amazing deal. Look at what we just did. Big smile, confetti, Kobe, Shaq. We're awesome. I don't care what anybody else says. We're turning our backs to the haters. We're going to celebrate this. It's amazing. It's so awesome that as a result, what's the only expectation you have for next year? Is get another one. But guess what? Championship. All right, guys, let's go get to work. Oh, what just happened? And that's what your people are doing. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate those Easter moments. Number 4 is this. This is my favorite about him. It's what I call the 3 C's. He was cool, calm, and collected. He was one of the most cool, calm, and collected coaches that you'll ever see. And there's just something about that. I'm telling you this right now. If you lose your cool and you wig out on your team and you go all crazy, I'm telling you, first thing is your people, they're always on edge. And when somebody's on edge, when you're on edge, you can't perform at your best. And if people know you got this, you kind of like, no, Doc, it is what it is. No, Doc, I got, like, whatever, like, I got it. God's got it, we're cool. Guess what everybody else is? Oh, we got this. We're cool. So it's up to you. Do you want to be everybody stressed out and, oh, man, how's Pastor going to act today? I don't know. What kind of mood is the bishop in? Or I don't know. Like, everybody stand. I don't know. It depends on, let's see how he feels. Don't say nothing to it. Master, don't say nothing to him about that. How that PowerPoint was. I can't say nothing to him about that. Oh, well, Master, well, hey, geez, let him know that illustration probably didn't work with the peoples today. No, Doc. That illustration wasn't on point, Pastor. In order for you to make sure that you're reaching the most people in the next service, I think you might want to consider changing that. Whether he does or not, he got a responsibility to do it. But when he's all antsy and whatever, nobody wants to do it. And so you're missing out on some of the best information you can get and creating the best culture you can just because you're tripping all the time. And here's what I say to people all the time in ministry. Because I come from corporate America. I'm relatively new to this, and it's probably why, anyway. But I just think that if you can't have fun doing ministry, what can you have fun doing? And if you're not having fun doing ministry, what I want you to do is get with some people that you know, love, and respect, and let them speak some life into you, because that's what you need. And then also, some of you, maybe you need to do something different. Just being real. But I think for 90% of you, that's not the case. You just need to look in the mirror and be honest. You need to get some people that's going to pour into you. And you need to make some adjustments. We all have to. Sometimes we're like the GPS. We got to recalculate. And many of you, it's not that you don't know where the destination is. You're just going down the wrong way. You need to recalculate. So that's an easy one to do. Just chill. It's not. It's just like, please quit over-spiritualizing and making this a lot harder than it needs to be. And try to act like you're so stressed as an excuse for you to act stupid. It's not okay. It's not okay. Because I'm telling you right now, and so some of you are wondering, like, you're looking at all the reasons why there's a ceiling on your growth, a ceiling on the type of people that you're getting. Could it ever be that God sees those moments when you're acting a nut? And he's saying, I don't want to send any more people to you until you figure out you need to quit acting a nut. You're going to keep having turnover until you quit acting a nut. I'm telling you right now, that's the biggest thing right there. This is another sidebar because I got some more points to go through. Turnover, I'm sorry, I've seen leaders do it. Turnover, it's nowhere but the leader, period. You can make it on everything else. Oh, they can't adapt to our culture. They couldn't keep up with the pace. This is just who we are. Oh, man, this is just what we do. People just come in and they just leave. No, Mr. Leader, you need to look in the mirror. Mrs. Leader, you need to look in the mirror. It's you. People don't leave churches. They leave leaders. They don't do it. They don't, yes. That's so just be cool, be calm, and be collected. Number five is this: embrace your season. Embrace your season. What Phil Jackson did when he retired into the sunset, went to Montana, And here's what he said. He said that he had a good run of 20 years of coaching. His words were this: now it's time to give some of the younger coaches an opportunity. He was true to his word. He came back, but it wasn't in that capacity. So the thing is, sometimes if you're at the end of a season, it doesn't mean that there's not a new and more amazing season in front of you. I mean, he's able to be a general manager, able to be in the office, but like I'm working with a lot of these pastors and we're talking about like succession and how do you do it and what does it look like? You just have to know when your season is ended. There's nothing, even the best player to ever strap on a pair of sneakers and get on the hardwood, he went past his season. The worst thing was seeing a whacked out Jordan come back and play. What did he play for? What was that? Like, that was just, what was it? Like, it was just whack. They just didn't even, like, you go out when you're, that's the memory that you want. And so my deal is, what is that for your ministry? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? And it may mean you're stepping out of youth ministry. That season may have ended and you're going into another season of ministry. Maybe your season is you're in a business and you're stepping out of that business and a new season is ministry. Or maybe that means that you've been in ministry for a really long time and you've been doing it and you're the best man, you're the best elder, you're the best usher, you're the best bishop, you're the best senior pastor, you're the best that's ever done. But you know what? Your season has ended. It's a really rough feeling when you're sitting in the summer with your winter coat on. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't feel right. And you can try to make it feel right. You're sweating and stuff's just weird and it's awkward. You're like, what is it? You're out of season. You're out of season. So know what that is and embrace it, because the new season is ridiculously awesome. I love you said that, like, you don't fire people. You help, usher them into a new season or a new role or whatever. That's what it is. Like, embrace that. Like and again, like when I was at Life Church, like literally we were 0 to 4,000, one of the fastest growing campuses they ever had. I mean, from like everybody else, like, this is the most amazing thing ever. You should be in this job forever. But the Lord was saying, like, your time is done here. I think you can have more impact going out and helping churches. I went out with not one client, no nothing, a family, kids. But here's the deal. I knew that season had ended. And God's continued to open the doors and bless it. And that's going to be the story of many of you. You're going to go out here today. You're going, you know what? This season has ended, and you're going to figure out what this season is. And guess what it's going to do? You're going to go to a new amazing season, and somebody else is going to come in and do something in your season. That's why I talked to you earlier about Miss whatever I said her name is that probably needs to go. And sometimes we have to be the one to encourage people to step into this new season, because we'll get so comfortable with our winter coat on in the summer that we'll just think that we're supposed to be that way. We're supposed to be hot and sweaty. But that's not what God is telling us. Number six. Oh, if I learn which direction to swipe. Oops. And 1,000. This is all operator error. See, sometimes I could blame, the devil trying to attack my Wi-Fi. No, I'm just swiping the wrong way. Number 6, he was great at selling his vision and leadership style to the players. I don't know if you guys know, it's like the triangle offense is not an offense that's attractive for your Jordans and your Kobes of the world. But he was able to come in and say, if you guys do this together, I can still make you a champion and you'll still score a lot of points. And so next thing you know, these great players, they bought into it because he was able to sell this vision. Just trust me. And here's the deal. Once you sell it to them, they buy into it. Now you got a track record. So now he has a track record, and he was able to sell it to another group of players because of the track record. So early on, some of you, you're not in a situation where you have a track record yet. So what you're selling is vision of this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, because you don't have that track record. Some of you have a track record, and that's what you're selling to. Some of you have a track record, and that's not what people are buying because of your track record. And so it all works. Some of you have a track record that people are excited to buy into. Some of you have a track record and so now you might be in a situation you need to reinvent yourself. You might need to do a new rebrand. You might need to recalibrate, whatever it is. But again, he was able to sell his vision to the players, and people were able to buy into it. And that's what's key. Number 7, he had an uncanny ability to create a culture of winning. And so a culture of winning means that you can take, no matter what your circumstances is, it's a whole I like to take lemons and make, lemonade. Whatever it is. I'm telling you, do you think Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, was a great guy to coach? How about Dennis Rodman? Do you think Dennis Rodman that was a pretty easy thing to do? That was the perfect situation? Do you think that was real? No. But if you haven't got a chance, I think there's 2 Hall of Fame speeches that's probably worth watching. Michael Jordan's, just to see what drives the person that's the greatest player ever. Like, he was still frustrated about getting cut as a junior. There was things that people didn't even know. There was things that they said or did that made him angry, and that's what made him go out there and be great every single day. It was a little bit crazy, but that's what you probably expect from a Jordan. The other one was Dennis Rodman. When you watch his, I don't know if you guys remember, you've seen it, in his speech, he cried. He cried, and he said, you know what? All of this stuff that you see on the outside, all the tattoos, all the earrings, all the crazy hair, he said, that's just a facade. He said, the only thing I wanted to do was to go get rebounds and help my team win. He said, Phil Jackson is the only man that was ever able to look through all of that. He was able to see me for who I truly was. He was the only man that ever sat down and cried with me, because he saw me for more than what I brought to my team. He saw me for not just the man I was, but the man I could be. As leaders, if we want to truly have a championship culture, we got to be willing to take the good and the bad. We got to be willing to look across at that leader. Something just ain't quite right. And we got to be able to find joy in being able to peel back some layers of that onion so we can see their greatness. And some of them are not going to be the all-star scorer. They're going to be the person that's just doing all the dirty work, that's getting the rebounds, that's doing the stuff that is not glorified. And if we're willing to see that in them, we're willing to pull the greatness out of them, everybody else on the team will see, wow, it's not just about me. If you don't think that affected the superstars that were doing all the scoring, on what Rodman did, how he did it, and more importantly, how Phil Jackson handled it. Leaders, you have the opportunity to create great teams, great cultures, great volunteers, great churches. But it's up to you. Or you can walk out here and just do more of the same. I'll close. How many guys have heard the story about the church full of ducks, by a show of hands? Okay, it's this church full of ducks, and every single Sunday, the ducks would walk down to the duck church, and they'd walk down to the duck church, and they'd go to the duck church, and their pastor would sit behind the podium. He would deliver this amazing message, and he would sit there and he'd deliver this amazing message, and all the ducks are sitting there. They're just sitting there, ducking. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing their duck thing, and they're just sitting there in the seats, and the duck pastor looks at all of them. He says, guess what? I don't know if you guys know this, but you have wings, and you can fly. You can fly like eagles. Turn around to your neighbor and say, we got wings. And the ducks turn around to them, we got wings. Guess what? We can fly. We can fly like eagles. And the ducks are, man, they're quacking. They're all, like inside, like, dog, we can fly. Like, this is going to be awesome. It's like, man, the ducks. And then he finishes the sermon. He closed his duck Bible. Then all the ducks walk out of the sanctuary and waddle back home. If God gives you something today, you hear it, you're convicted, you're challenged, you say, I know I need to do something different. But so many times in environments like this, people walk out these doors and they waddle back home. God bless you guys.